An odd sight this morning, these photos of orange snow at ski resorts is drawing a lot of attention on social media. What officials say is causing it.
And this outcry over deadly police shooting. This morning, NBA stars joining the cries for accountability after a man is shot and killed by officers. What police say happened that not everyone agrees with. Plus this.
People need to slow down because I lost one of my really good friends.
A call for change. Parents fed up with a dangerous intersection after the death of a 12-year-old girl. The petition they are now taking to city lawmakers. Good morning and welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm David Romero.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning, March 26th. We'll get to our news in just a moment. First, we're talking weather. That's
right. Meteorologist Kristen Curry has a lot for us in that forecast. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning. Yeah, we'll start first with what's going on with the temperatures out there. We're talking 30s and 40s over the north, and then those 40s, 50s, and even 60s out there in the southeastern corner. Carlsbad so close to 70 degrees as we start the week. Albuquerque 51 degrees, which really isn't that bad considering we are still at the end of March. But this afternoon, our highs will be about 5 degrees cooler than what we had over the weekend. That leaves us in those mid-60s with a mix of sunshine and cloud cover overhead. Increasing cloud cover expected this afternoon. Farmington, same kind of thing. Sunshine now, but more cloud cover this afternoon with high temperatures stuck in the 50s for today. Roswell looking at highs in the upper 60s, maybe even a few light rain showers today. Looking at some showers even out there now, but not a whole lot in the way of intensity here. These are very light sprinkles we're talking about. Santa Fe mixes sun and clouds with highs in the upper 50s this afternoon. 3-day forecast shows more wind tomorrow. A better chance of showers here in the metro with temperatures bottoming out in the 50s, and that is below normal for us for this time of year. That storm system that's moving into tonight into tomorrow is actually going to collide with the cold front. So we've got a lot to discuss when it comes to the changes. I'll fill in the details for you coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thanks so much, Kristen. We'll talk to you then. We turn now to developing news right now. This morning, police still keeping an eye out for speeders along intersections outside of Cleveland Middle School. This after the death of 12-year-old Justine Almuina, a vibrant sixth grader. She was hit and killed crossing Louisiana Natalie Avenue last Thursday. Police say the driver who hit her didn't see her crossing the road that day. This morning, an Albuquerque mom is asking for changes to that intersection, turning to city lawmakers with a petition that's garnering a lot of attention. News 13's Sarah Yingling joins us live from right outside the school with the details on this. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Crystal. Well, Crystal Copeland's petition already has more than 2,000 signatures on it, but this morning she's asking for even more parents to sign this to make changes to this dangerous intersection before somebody else is killed.
I would like to see a light here that would stop traffic where students could push a button, just like a light would turn yellow and a light would turn red, just like you would see down at Montgomery and Louisiana, so the children could cross safely.
Copeland's petition on change.org is asking District 7 City Councilor Diane Gibson to add more safety measures to the Louisiana and Natalie intersection. It's a busy intersection that's made busier by the students who attend Cleveland Middle School, coming and going every day. Last week, 12-year-old Justine Almuina was killed crossing the street when an SUV didn't see her. Right now, Louisiana at Natalie has a very faded white crosswalk. Councilor Gibson says she's already made some calls to fix that. She also says the city will look at all possible solutions for fixing the intersection, and she's going to try and bring change as quickly as possible. On Friday, Councilor Gibson said that she would get back to us today regarding those changes. We'll keep you updated if any announcements are made. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Sarah. Crystal Copeland is trying to get 2,500 signatures on that petition. As of this morning, she needs a little less than 200 more signatures to reach that goal. We do have a link on our website, krqe.com. Click on the Always On tab.
And this morning, as you saw in Sarah's piece there, the memorial is growing as the community mourns the loss of 12-year-old Justine Almuina. This as the family says they are working to make funeral arrangements. A vigil was held outside her Albuquerque Middle School, remembering the light she brought to others.
I love my baby girl. She will always be my princess, and something that I used to always tell her is we're gonna be best friends forever.
We enjoyed every moment with her, and she was so amazing. She loved everyone in her own ways.
Now, those who knew Justine Almuina say her dynamic personality was hard to miss. At the vigil, Stardust Skies Park was filled with family, friends, and neighbors, some wearing shirts with her picture. Others had crowns and brought princess balloons with special messages. And for more on that petition and the GoFundMe account for Justine Almuina, we have posted those links online at alwayson.krqe.com.
On to new news this morning. Support for the family of an unarmed black man shot by police is growing. This after his name was splashed right across the backs of some NBA players. This morning, you can watch a PSA featuring Sacramento Kings players calling for accountability in the Stephon Clark case. Just last night, both Kings and Boston Celtics players wore shirts bearing Clark's name. Clark, a 22-year-old black man who was shot by Sacramento police in his grandmother's backyard last week. Police say he was shot 20 times after officers thought he was holding a gun. Only a cell phone was found near his body. The shooting has sparked protests and now this movement from NBA players.
It's probably the toughest job in America, and I applaud them for putting their lives on the line every night, every day. But with that comes with a responsibility, and that's the mantle that they carry and the burden that they bear.
The NBA player movement is getting mixed reaction this morning. Also new today, new body camera videos coming under fire after an officer can be heard saying, "Hey, mute," after the shooting. Moments later, the video goes silent.
Also new this morning, at least 53 people are dead after a shopping mall fire in Siberia. Take a closer look at the video. According to state-run news, a fire broke out on the top floor of a 4-story shopping mall. This morning, about 69 people, 40 of whom are children, are missing. The fire has been contained and a criminal case has been opened. So far, no word on a cause this morning. We will let you know when we find out more about those reported missing.
Also happening today, the man accused of kidnapping a man in August and showing him a picture of his mutilated and dead friend is expected back in court. According to court records, Chase Motherman, Mitchell Overhand, and Mariah Ferry, they were all charged for the kidnapping, allegedly forcing the victim to look at a picture of John Soika's mutilated body while they were beating him to death, according to police. Motherman's kidnapping trial is set to begin next month, but he's expected in court today for a motion hearing. We'll let you know what happens later on today.
Right now, anger is rising in a New Mexico border town. This after some decisions allegedly made by the mayor. The Deming Headlight reports Columbus residents lashed out at Mayor Ezequiel Salas during a recent meeting. They are upset that Salas reportedly fired the village's municipal clerk and public works director with no explanation. The paper also reports there is suspicion that Salas violated the state's Open Meetings Act. We will follow this and let you know what happens.
Also happening right now, the federal government is expected to seize $10.1 million from the Pewaukee Pueblo. That's according to the Santa Fe New Mexican. The tribe set aside the funds after its previous gambling agreement with the state expired in 2015. It was allowed to keep its casinos open until a new compact was signed last year. However, Pewaukee Pueblo leaders and the state remained at odds over the share of earnings in the 2-year period. The Justice Department then ruled how much would be seized.
New this morning, we are learning Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is apologizing to the public through advertisements. Zuckerberg took out full-page ads in several major newspapers in the U.S. and the U.K. The ads will run this morning in papers like the New York Times and Washington Post. Now, those ads are to apologize for the data privacy scandal involving Cambridge Analytica and the reported misuse of personal data from 50 million people.
As you wake up today, the NMSU football program's historic bowl game is having a positive impact on that school. The Aggies defeated Utah State 26-20 in the Arizona Bowl game back in December. According to the Las Cruces Sun News, New Mexico State's appearance was worth an estimated net profit of $265,000. The Aggies actually sold more than 5,900 tickets to the bowl game. Another report shows NMSU earned a media value of $24 million based on how much media publicity the university received.
Looking ahead, New Mexico's top speller will soon represent the state on the national stage. Akansha Nanda from Carlos Gilbert Elementary School in Santa Fe took home top honors at the state spelling bee over the weekend. Her winning word was Mozambique, the southern African nation. Now the PED congratulates Nanda on Twitter, saying she will represent New Mexico quite well.
All right, take a look at this video here, getting a lot of attention on social media this morning. Orange snow baffled many at a ski resort in Sochi, Russia. There's good reason for all of this. Meteorologists say the orange snow is caused by sand from storms in the Sahara Desert being picked up by a storm system with rain and snow, thus creating the orange snow effect.
Gives a new twist to just, a different look on the slopes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because there you could see it's snow. The other videos, I'm kind of thinking, are you sure it's snow?
Kind of looks like the west side
It
on,
kinda
during
does,
spring.
Yeah.
Nice little sandstorm.
All right, fire danger returns to the state today. Kristen Curry is in next to break it all down.
And of course, Apple is wanting to include people who have disabilities in their emojis. We will tell you what could be in the works ahead. Plus, students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida say they are not done yet, what they're turning their sights to now. You are taking a live look over Washington, D.C. this morning, where students who led rallies over the weekend say their movement is just getting started. This as they begin planning another protest in April.
We need to vote out the politicians who are refusing to pass common sense gun legislation.
Survivors from the deadly school shooting in Parkland, Florida are now turning their attention to this year's midterm elections. Some students say they will target candidates who refuse to support what they call common sense laws. At least one Parkland survivor does not think the new legislation is the answer, and that existing laws just need to be enforced. Another nationwide protest is scheduled for April 20th, the 19th anniversary of the Columbine massacre.
All right, take a look at this. Macy's ringing in spring with a spectacular flower display. It's part of their annual flower show. This year's theme is Once Upon a Springtime. It transforms their iconic New York store into an enchanted garden of a fairy tale journey. You can see a castle in one of the images there, even a dragon spewing out orange flowers to look a little bit like fire. Pretty neat.
You know, I bet it smells amazing in there, but if you have allergies to some of those,
You're done.
Out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never noticed this, ever.
No.
Have you?
No, well, no, I've never been to New York during springtime. Oh, I take it
it's
back. I went once.
only New York Macy's?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was all the Macy's.
No.
That's why I never noticed it. I was like, maybe I'm just like so wrapped up in the shopping that I never
You walk
noticed
right
the
by it every
flowers.
You're looking for the sale sign. You're all
Yeah.
sales flowers?
I have like a radar for like red tags. I'm like,
Yeah.
boop, okay. Well, of course, we'll provide more updates on the rain, snow, and wind as this storm rolls in tonight.
We really need the rain, especially over my house because I kind of busted one of our sprinklers
Did you?
last year.
Yeah.
So my husband has yet to go out and fix it, so our lawn is struggling right now.
Yeah, tomorrow is
on.
going to be the bigger day for rain and snow. Today, I don't expect anything in the way of widespread rain, but wouldn't be surprised to see some of those drier thunderstorms pop up.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Please. Or some of our neighbors just go and help us water our
Right.
lawn.
Somebody take a hose over there to their house, please.
Thanks so much, Kristen.
All right, let's get a look at that morning commute with Mr. Steve Trella. Good morning, Steve.
Well, good morning, David. Overall, we're looking pretty good for the commute. I-40 eastbound and westbound, mostly moderate flows. There's really no issues. The only place you slow down, normal spot, I-40 eastbound. You're tapping the brakes, of course. Then you're off to the Big I, no problems there. Westbound is still building. I-25 northbound and southbound. Well, southbound, you're busy at Jefferson. Get a little packed in there, but you'll stretch out well before the Big I. And I-25 northbound still picking up some traffic. Paseo is looking good. And surface streets right now, they are reporting it as accident-free. Want you to have a great Monday. I'm Steve Trella, KRQE News 13 Traffic.
Thanks much, Steve. On to new details for you. Apple wants emojis that represent people with disabilities better. The company sent a proposal to the organization that sets the global standard for emojis. Apple's asking for 13 new additions to the emoji family. Here's a few on your TV screen. They do include an ear with a hearing aid, a person in a wheelchair, a prosthetic arm, a service dog, and a person with a cane. Now, Apple says it's just a starting point and not a comprehensive list of all of the potential new emojis. I'm excited to see what else they're going to come up with.
You know, it's amazing when they're magnified at that level right there. You can see the detail that goes into them. I mean, we just see them on a small scale when we're putting them on our phones, but
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Good job.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, social media salsa lesson. This morning, a post by a Hollywood actor getting dancing lessons is going viral. Why a second famous face in that video may be the reason. We'll explain next.
Plus, a passionate promposal, the teen who stepped in to ask her best friend to prom after she learned he was being bullied, and how the community is making their prom one to remember. After the break.
Welcome back, everyone. So typically, if you want to learn how to salsa dance, you might hire a dance instructor, maybe go to YouTube. But if you're Will Smith, you just ask one of your closest friends. Take a look at this. The Hollywood star turned to his fellow buddy, Mark Anthony. Smith documented the lesson with his 100th Instagram post, which started drawing about 1 million views per hour. That's a lot of people getting in one free salsa lesson. Smith then posted the video with the hashtag bucket list salsa lesson from Mark Anthony.
How many of us can call Mark Anthony at the drop of a hat?
Yeah. Like, hey, I want to know some salsa. He'd be the guy, though, that's for sure.
Will Smith is pretty good. He's not bad.
Yeah, he's always had the moves, and now it's just like he's incorporating a little salsa into it. Yeah, all right, way to go, Will.
Mark Anthony's so trendy. Look at those
I
ripped
know.
up jeans. I could not pull that off. My daughter would laugh at me.
Would she laugh at you for the salsa moves or just the ripped jeans?
Everything. Anything I do, she laughs at.
Well, check this out here. A community in Michigan rallied together to pull off a surprise of a lifetime for a student who has autism and who's been the victim of bullying. It all started with Julian Martinez's best friend, Corey Bradshaw. When she heard someone was bullying him for not having a prom date, she wanted to make him feel loved and supported. So on Sunday, a caravan of Jeeps served as a backdrop for Corey to ask Julian to the prom. But the community's support did not stop there, and after the reveal, the two were shocked to receive a free corsage and boutonniere, hair, and for Julian, a special suit for the big day.
I love this story.
Sweet.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty cool that, I mean, it was a big effort on her part, but a big effort for the whole community to come together for that. Yeah.
I love it. All right, 6:26 now. 7-hour standoff ends peacefully. How APD says the man who terrorized neighbors in Northeast Albuquerque was finally arrested.
And the 60 Minutes interview with adult film star Stormy Daniels about her alleged affair with President Trump is getting a lot of attention this morning. More details coming up.
We're following new overnight news. A man accused of terrorizing a neighborhood is waking up behind bars. What else he's accused of doing that caused a SWAT situation? Plus this.
Was it hush money to stay silent?
Yes.
Speaking out, the woman who claims she had an affair with the president is telling her story. More of the viral interview this morning.
And up, up, and away. This rocket carrying more than your average cargo. A daredevil's inside. More of the video and how it all came to an end just ahead. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Krista Gutierrez.
And I'm David Romero. Today is Monday, March 26th. We have all of the day's top stories, including Mad Mike's little journey into air right there.
That's kind of how I feel like my Monday starts. Full speed.
Let's hope it ends better than what it did for Mad Mike,
Yeah, I
because
know.
you're going to hear about that in a minute.
A little rocky landing there.
A little bit.
We need to get a check on that forecast. So starting on your Monday morning. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning. Yeah, a little bit of action out there this morning. We're talking light rain over southern New Mexico. Nothing heavy. I mean, this isn't going to be a huge talker for us, but it's enough to drop a few sprinkles on you for the morning commute. So heads up there. Do you know the cloud cover you see out there this morning? That stays through the day today. So more clouds and temperatures this morning, a little warmer as we're talking 30s, 40s, and 50s. In most locales, we've got 50s and 60s down over the southeast, but colder temperatures up to the north in the 20s. Albuquerque high temperatures today in the 60s with mostly cloudy skies on top. Our rain chances don't look great today, but they will come up tomorrow. We have breezy to windy conditions coming in ahead of our storm system, but it's a storm and a cold front colliding over the state that's going to help give us this rain and mountain snow event. It starts tonight, but really gets underway tomorrow, looking at the possibility of even heavy snowfall over our northern mountains. The one cost, though, our temperatures will fall tomorrow below normal for this time of year. So today's going to be that transition day. Tuesday's the big day for the rain and snow, and then things quiet down midweek. I'll fill in the details for you coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thanks so much, Kristen. We'll talk to you then. On to new overnight news. A man accused of terrorizing a neighborhood before causing an hours-long SWAT standoff is waking up behind bars. This morning, we now know his name. APD says officers arrested Feliciano Franco late last night after a 7-hour standoff that came to an end around 11 o'clock. Police say Franco is accused of slashing the tires of multiple cars and threatening the tenant of an apartment complex on Texas Street with a knife. Police say at first he would not surrender, becoming extremely hostile. APD says the standoff ended peacefully. He is now off the streets.
Happening today, a district court judge could make a decision involving the woman charged with killing a mother and a daughter in the crash. Police say Alexis Groves and Paul Garcia stole a van and crashed into Shana Arredondo's car last year. Arredondo and her 14-year-old daughter died in the crash. Now, Groves is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder because the deaths occurred during a felony crime. Groves' attorney filed a motion to dismiss those charges, but the state says a jury should make the decision, not the courts. We will let you know what the judge decides. And now we have a live look over Washington, D.C. and Capitol Hill, where a 60 Minutes interview on CBS is getting a lot of attention this morning.
Sure is. Adult film star Stormy Daniels sitting down with Anderson Cooper about her alleged affair with President Trump. Here's some background for you. Daniels alleges she had an affair with President Trump. She claims she was threatened after she sold her story in 2011. She says she was in a Las Vegas parking lot on her way to a fitness class with her young daughter when a man approached her.
A guy walked up on me and said to me, "Leave Trump alone, forget the story." And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, "A beautiful little girl, it'd be a shame if something happened to her mom."
Stormy Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, says she had consensual relations with Trump one time after meeting him at a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe in 2006. As for if she has texts or pictures as proof, this is what she had to say.
I can't answer that right now.
You don't want to say one way or the other if you have text messages or other items?
My attorney has recommended that I don't discuss those things.
Reports have stated President Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, has threatened to sue her for $20 million for violating a non-disclosure agreement that she signed a week and a half before the 2016 election. Cohen did pay her $130,000. He says she was not reimbursed by Trump or the Trump campaign, though. Clifford's attorney is seeking to have the agreement voided because President Trump did not sign it. We'll continue to follow this for you, let you know how it develops.
New details this morning about the investigation ramping up into a motive behind a series of package bombs in Austin, Texas. Some are wondering if this should be labeled as domestic terrorism.
Some have asked me, is this a domestic terrorism case? I think it's unequivocal that this man, this individual, this sick individual, terrorized the city of Austin and this community. And he terrorized it for over 3 weeks.
23-year-old Mark Anthony Condit is accused of sending out 6 package bombs, 5 of them detonating, killing 2 people. Last week, Condit killed himself by detonating a bomb when police were closing in. As for a motive, Austin's police chief says the suspect never mentions anything about terrorism or a motive in a 25-minute confession video. They say it's more of an outcry of a, quote, very challenged young man talking about challenges in his personal life.
On to new news this morning. A proposal by Xcel Energy to raise electricity rates is getting opposition from residents. Xcel says the more than 6% rate increase would help fund new power lines, substations, and power plant upgrades. The Hobbs News Sun reports at a town hall meeting. Many Hobbs residents say they strongly oppose the plan to raise rates. Hobbs Mayor Sam Cobb says the rate hikes would create hardships for residents there. On to new video just into our newsroom this morning shows a man launching himself into the air. It's getting a lot of attention this morning. You can see why. Let's take a closer look. Mad Mike Hughes, as he calls himself, is on this rocket as it flies right above the Mojave Desert. After a while, you can see a parachute there popping out of the rocket, dropping to the ground rather quickly. Mad Mike had a little bit of a hard landing that day. Good news is he did walk away with some minor injuries, though. The launch was originally scheduled for November. It was scrubbed several times, though, because of logistical issues. You can see this one was a go.
Yeah, it was. I was reading on CBS News Twitter earlier this morning. They put that he reached more than 1,800 feet above the Mojave Desert, and he's wanting to prove that the Earth is flat like a Frisbee. That's
oh, Mad Mike.
Mad Mike.
You know, we'll let you go up in rockets.
Yeah.
I don't know about anything else.
I don't know how that proved it, but he proved that he can be launched into air. So good on that account.
Either way, I would not be strapping myself to a rocket anytime soon. We'll leave that to Mad Mike.
Yeah, he's got it quartered on that market. Yeah. Well, our next big weather maker moves in tomorrow, bringing rain and snow back to the state. Kristen Curry will show us who gets what coming up in her full forecast.
Also this, the star of the Ramblers has a new prediction this morning. What she's saying about her beloved team, you don't want to miss it. That's after the break. Loyola Chicago Ramblers are heading to the Final Four. Their star, Sister Jean, says she's betting on her team to win it all. 98-year-old Sister Jean is known for her prayers before the game and infamous hugs after, and is now the Ramblers' secret weapon, predicting the team would go far. Her original bracket had them losing in the Sweet 16, but it turns out she had a little secret. Take a listen.
I have Loyola going to the Sweet 16, but I have a second bracket, which I call the Cinderella Dream bracket, where I have them going to the final game.
Aha, a secret bracket. The last time the team made the tournament was 1985. If they win the championship, they will become the lowest seeded team to ever do so.
Wow.
That is one cool nun. I wish they were like that cool when I was in Catholic school.
They were all cool. What are you talking about?
She would, you know, I don't remember any of them having us make brackets or anything cool like that.
Having a basketball scarf.
Serious, that would have been
I
great.
like it.
Yeah.
My Texas Tech Red Raiders lost yesterday, but I'm still tied for 9th in the KRQE bracket challenge.
You're doing well.
Yeah.
Wait, who do you have winning? Well, you have the Red
Tech.
Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll see. We'll
That's
see what
okay.
happens. They went far.
Yeah.
First time in school history. They made it to the Elite 8, so we'll take that.
Just scratch it out.
Yeah,
Get
right?
some white out.
Nah, I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm still sticking to my guns. I think they could. Big Action Day is tomorrow. Of course, we'll continue to provide updates not only on air but online as well.
You know, I got a nice layer of dirt from the weekend on the truck, so I'm just going to have to wait till after Tuesday, right?
I drove to Lubbock, got my car washed on Friday, and it rained on Saturday night.
Oh,
I was like,
There you
this
go.
is my welcome back. But eastern New Mexico, that's where those rain showers started. So we got a little bit of rain over the weekend, just a nice little squeeze. I'm hoping, though, tonight into tomorrow, we get a nice, meaningful rain.
Yep,
Yeah,
definitely.
hopefully. Fingers crossed. Thanks so much, Kristen. It's now 6:45.
Well, the SWAT situation, is over this morning. The suspect's identity and what we know ahead.
Also this, fed up parents taking to a petition to call on city lawmakers, hoping something will be done about an intersection they call dangerous. Details just ahead in the Morning Rush. Time now for that Morning Rush.
We start with Kristen Curry.
Good morning. Looking at a mostly cloudy sky today and a few spotty rain showers over the far southeast, but starting tonight and into tomorrow, watching the rain and snow develop over the northwest and northern mountains. This will stretch down into the Albuquerque area, more than likely going to be rain by the time it reaches the Duke City. We'll send things now back over to Sarah Yingling.
This morning, an Albuquerque mom is looking to gather even more signatures on a petition to make this intersection outside of Cleveland Middle School safer. This after 12-year-old Justine Almuina was hit while crossing Louisiana near Natalie last week. Parent Crystal Copeland's petition already has more than 2,000 signatures, but she's looking to get at least 2,500. The petition is calling for District 7 City Councilor Diane Gibson to add more safety measures. The changes this mother would like to see made coming up in the 5 Facts.
On to new overnight news now. A man accused of terrorizing a neighborhood before causing an hours-long SWAT standoff is waking up behind bars. APD says officers arrested Feliciano Franco after a 7-hour standoff. Police say Franco is accused of slashing the tires on multiple cars and threatening the tenant of an apartment complex on Texas Street with a knife. APD says the standoff ended peacefully, that he's now off the streets.
Today, the man accused of kidnapping a man in August and showing him a picture of his mutilated and dead friend is expected in court. According to court records, Chase Smotherman, Mitchell Overhand, and Mariah Ferry are facing kidnapping charges for allegedly forcing the victim to look at a picture of John Soika's mutilated body while they were beating him to death. Smotherman's kidnapping trial is set to begin next month, but he's expected in court today for a motion hearing.
We're looking ahead for you on this Monday morning. A district court judge could soon decide if a man accused of stabbing his neighbor will remain behind bars. 29-year-old Mark Mowing is accused of showing up at an apartment complex and punching a former neighbor in the face, then stabbing him in the arm with a pocket knife. Over the weekend, a judge ordered Mowing to stay behind bars until a district court judge decides if he'll stay locked up until trial.
New this morning, the adult film star who says she had an affair with President Trump shared her story with 60 Minutes last night. Stormy Daniels claims she had sex with Mr. Trump after meeting him in 2006. Daniels says she was later threatened to keep quiet by a man who approached her in Las Vegas while she was with her daughter.
As you wake up this morning, students who survived the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School say their gun control movement is only getting started. The March for Our Lives rallies drew huge crowds across the country on Saturday. They say they're now planning another march next month. We'll have details on that in our 5 Facts, including how organizers could play a big role in the upcoming midterm elections.
Now an update to a story we've been following for you. You will soon be paying more to shop in Albuquerque. This after Mayor Tim Keller approves an ordinance to raise the sales tax by 3/8 cents. That's an extra 38 cents per every $100 spent. Now it's expected to generate about $52 million in new revenue. At least 60% of the money will go toward public safety. Now the tax hike goes into effect July 1st.
On to some breaking overnight news for you. At least 53 people are dead after a shopping mall fire in Siberia. Siberia, I should say. According to state-run news, a fire broke out on the top floor of a 4-story shopping mall. This morning, about 69 people, dozens of them who are children, are still missing. The fire has been contained and a criminal case has been opened. No word on a cause this morning.
And right now, Saudi Arabia officials say one person is dead as a result of intercepted ballistic missiles shot from Yemen. Saudi Royal Air Defense Forces report that all 7 ballistic missiles were destroyed, but that the interception resulted in fragments raining down on a few residential neighborhoods. Officials say the falling material is what caused the death. Saudi officials say an Iran-backed terrorist group is responsible. Kristen?
Today's Metro Threat Index added 2, looking at some breezy conditions out of the southwest. Those winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, but outside of that, no problems. Temperatures back to the 60s with a mostly to partly cloudy sky overhead. Crystal?
On to new facts for you this morning. The American Academy of Pediatrics says low-income families need better access to healthy food. The group says many impoverished children have no way to get the nutritious foods that they need. Instead, they're surrounded by unhealthy options and may need help to improve their diet.
And new facts this morning may have you rethinking those hoverboards. According to the Journal of Pediatrics, they are releasing a new caution to riders. Researchers examined data from 2015 and 2016 when they were first sold in the U.S. And in that time, nearly 27,000 young people were hurt while riding one, including broken bones and sprains accounted for more than half of those injuries. Kristen?
Time now for a check on your Monday morning commute. Nothing major out there, no crashes to relay to you this morning. Just some minor slowing I-25 southbound near Osuna.
And looking ahead, New Mexico's top speller will soon represent the state on the national stage. Ken Shandanda from Carlos Gilbert Elementary School in Santa Fe took home top honors at the state spelling bee over the weekend. Her winning word was Mozambique, the Southern African nation. The PED congratulates her on Twitter, saying she will represent New Mexico well.
And finally this morning, get your brackets out. We now know the final 4 teams that will be playing to make it to the national championship. Last night, Kansas defeated Duke, earning the last spot in this year's Final Four. The Jayhawks will play top-seeded Villanova in San Antonio next Saturday. The other 2 teams in the Final Four include Michigan and the team responsible for several upsets and busted brackets, Loyola Chicago. They will also play on Saturday at 4 p.m. Good luck, guys.
Time now for the 5 facts.
So at number 5 here, we're now down to 4, as I just mentioned. One of those teams, the Cinderella team, Loyola Chicago. I have to say, though, the star of the Loyola Ramblers is Sister Jean. The 98-year-old sister is known for her prayers before the game and is now the Ramblers' secret weapon, predicting the team would go this far. Her original bracket had them losing in the Sweet 16, but as it turns out, she actually had a secret bracket that said they would go all the way. The last time the team made it into the tournament was 1985. They are the last double-digit seeded team left in the tournament today.
At number 4, March for Our Lives rallies, including some in New Mexico, are still all the talk this morning. Now some students say their movement is just starting and they are planning another protest on April 20th. That is the Columbine Massacre anniversary. Some Parkland, Florida school shooting survivors say they are now turning their attention to this year's midterm elections, targeting candidates who refuse to support what they call common sense laws. At least one Parkland survivor does not think that the new legislation is the answer and that existing laws just need to be enforced.
And number 3, temperatures cooler today with Albuquerque down to those mid-60s again. Increasing cloud cover and increasing wind expected with fire danger off to the east. Starting tonight and into tomorrow, rain and snow moving in over the northwest. Significant snowfall accumulation over our northern mountains tomorrow, although Albuquerque, we will likely just stick with the rain.
And number 2, a district court judge could make a decision involving the woman charged with killing a mother and daughter in a crash. Police say Alexis Groves and Paul Garcia stole a van and crashed into Shauna Arredondo's car last year. Arredondo and her 14-year-old daughter died. Groves is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Groves' attorney filed a motion to dismiss some of the charges, but the state says a jury should make the decision.
Number 1 now this morning, an Albuquerque mom is asking for changes to an intersection where a young girl was recently struck by a car and killed. Last week, 12-year-old Justine Almuina was hit while crossing Louisiana near Natalie. That's near Cleveland Middle School. The driver did stop to try and help save the girl. More than 2,000 names are already on the petition calling for changes to the intersection, including more safety measures such as a traffic light there. Councilor Diane Gibson says she's going to try and bring change as quickly as possible.
We have a whole lot more coming up for you now over on Fox New Mexico starting at 7 a.m. Stay with us.